Chat, here we go. We have Nwpo versus Atow. We are just a couple days away from EU RLCS starting. I think that MENA RLCS actually starts tomorrow as well. I can't remember if it started today. I know that MENA qualifiers, I think, have one less day, which means there's a chance that they start their day 1 tomorrow. It's day 4 for EU RLCS tomorrow. Atow and his KC squad making it through the first part of the qualifiers with ease, as they are now in the same location, I think, boot camping in preparation for the start tomorrow. Nwpo has been playing alongside his new teammates Rise and Atomic, but today there will be no teammates helping out either one of these guys. They are going to be playing all by themselves. It's Nwpo versus Atow in a 1v1, which is extra interesting because we didn't really get to see Nwpo like we did get to see Atow. Atow played in Salt Mine 4, so we had a good sense of where he stacked up against the other top players in EU. Meanwhile, Nwpo elected to pass on participating in the EU Salt Mine. Meanwhile, playing 1v1 show matches here and there, that would indicate he might be of the quality that he could win the whole thing. I think there's definitely people in chat who could agree with me. You know, is he part of that S tier of players like Nas and Diaz? Not to reveal my potential tier list I might be doing later, but I certainly would think that Nas and Diaz have to be up there in the highest echelons, as Nwpo was transitioning to the back wall for help aerial-wise, but put him way too far laterally from the play, as Atow will have no trouble tapping it in. But that is always the way that Nwpo likes to play. Nwpo is the kind of guy who relies on fast movements and unorthodox, creativity in his game that leads to chances on nets that you won't see any other player get, and also leaves open nets that nobody else will ever leave. And that is, at first, a trade-off that hurt him enough that he couldn't really reach the top ranks of ones, but that has since been not an issue. He has used his creativity in order to rise to the very best, but Atow is a guy who's very creative himself, specifically in the air. There's just about nothing he can't do, as he's going to get a nice air dribble reset before slotting at top lefts. Koilga, thank you for the tier 1 for 18 months. Appreciate that. I think you also reminded me that TTS might be on, which I appreciate because that was a very nice TTS. And now TTS is off, so do not try and scam it here in the middle of this show match. Nwpo only one goal to open up his game number 1, but there he is pre-jumping as Atow now going to pass to himself off the ceiling, get a reset to make sure it finishes. And this is just the way Nwpo plays. We were actually watching for the YouTube a couple days ago some Nwpo replays, and he wants to live in the future. He wants to live in the future whether it makes sense or not. And so he pre-jumped so early. Atow able to make that adjustment and get himself a fairly simple goal, but a solid kickoff from Nwpo will make sure he's still within striking distance. Just a standard kickoff. He wins off to the right. That gets him his second goal. Now, I should mention, for those of you on the YouTube, maybe you haven't found out yet, it was announced just earlier today, I am going to be part of the RLCS broadcast crew for the 1v1s this year. If you look at the announcement, it says I'm a special guest. What that means is I'm not going to be doing the 3v3s, but I will be commentating for the RLCS stream in 1v1s. I am quite excited. Hopefully, you guys are excited as well. But for now, we have more Nwpo Atow. If you're wondering where Atow finished top 4 in the Salt Mine. He was one of the first players to qualify for the Salt Mine. If you guys don't remember how it worked, there were 4 different qualifiers. Double elimination. If you made it through, you didn't have to play the other ones. Atow, I think, was a slight surprise when he made it through as number 2 behind Nas. But he, for the most part, backed it up when he made it into the top 4 and then ran into a Rawas who had, recovered form, I would say. And a Rawas on recovered form is pretty tough to take down. I want to say, was that Atow's only loss? Yeah, Atow's only loss in the entire Salt Mine was to Nas, I think, in the first qualifier, because he got sent to the lower bracket. And then to Rawas at the very end in top 4, which is a ridiculous run from Atow. He is showing that he is truly, in contention. Maybe not able to take down those very top dogs who are fighting for tournament wins. But honestly, He kind of is. I mean, I take that back. I just remembered that he won at least one of the, what was it called? Arm the Rebels Cups. So, you know, give him enough chances, which is certainly what Arm the Rebels was, and maybe he will take a win. On the other side of the field, like I said, is Nwpo, the kind of guy who's been getting huge W's when he's had the chance. But I think only against a few collection of people. I want to say he's played Nas a few times recently and has come away with wins, which is one of the reasons why people have rated him so highly. If you can take down that guy that nobody else seems to be able to take down, then you certainly deserve some recognition. But I really want to point out and make a big case, necessarily against, I don't want to say against Nwpo. I don't want to make it seem like I'm a Nwpo hater. But playing in those tournaments really opens you up to potential upsets that could happen, that could show that maybe you're not at the same consistent level as some other guys, that when you just don't play them at all and you only, you know, snipe games against the top players, it's just a little bit easier. It's just a little bit easier to do, and therefore I think Nwpo's match wins should be just, you know, taken in that context, that he did not play through a full tournament, try and make it to these certain finishes. Nice reset shot, though, from Nwpo. As I pull up his recent games, since basically February 2024, so almost a full year, he has played against only Drowley, Atow, Moxie, and Nas, which is basically, to be fair, he only has one loss in those games. He has one loss to Moxie, so he's looked really, really solid in the matches that he has played, but he hasn't, you know, given himself an opportunity to get terribly upset like some of these other guys who had to work all the way through the initial qualifiers. Atow is going to steal this one away and tap it in for a 2-goal lead. He's also one of the guys that Nwpo did play. These guys last played April 18th, so not quite a full year ago, but many months ago. Nwpo won that one 3-1 when they last played. I think Atow has probably leveled up since the last time they played, and he's proven that at least a little bit, as he will go up game one. We'll see if he's able to grab more than just one game like he did last time. Atow's reset shot denied by Nwpo, but the fact that he was even in possession might have been enough. Nwpo missed. Can he somehow get this read? Multiple touches off the back wall. It's not going to happen. Atow will take game number one in this best of 5 against Nwpo. Sure. You couldn't give me a little bit more heart than just sure. Sure, fine. Bad server for Nwpo. Did he mention it? Did I? Oh, because we can get him a new server if he wants. Game number 2. Nwpo and Atow. Nwpo has been doing a lot of streaming lately, which has been awesome to see. I've talked about this for players, you know, all the time. Pro players who could try and build up their brand. Nwpo's a great example of somebody who partially streams no mic when he doesn't have the energy to do it. You'll just say, you know, his title is Twos No Mic, or his title is just Twos, which presumably means his mic is on. But he's been grinding a ton of Rocket League. I mean, I think he's always grinding a ton of Rocket League. I think all these guys are, but he's been streaming them as well, as Atow does a really good job of playing this around Nwpo's pre-jump, or I should say his ceiling challenge. Atow making sure to carry this as high and far away from Nwpo, who's going to be falling from ceiling height on that right side. Going to have a really tough time keeping momentum and staying high up and making a real challenge against Atow, who has done a great job of reading his defense. That is a very important part of 1v1. Ooh, Nwpo did just enough to body Atow off this. He's flicking on 0 boost, so it is a very all-in play from him here as he tries to bump Atow. If Atow makes that save on the post, and he's probably running away for a goal, but he doesn't. Nwpo did box him out. Karsten Wellspring, thank you for the tier 1 for 3 months. Congrats on the RLCS casting. Absolutely deserved. Hey, thank you. I appreciate the sub. Atow down 1. Nice use of the flip instantly. And you don't see a ton of resets used this quickly. Just popping them with the tail end of your car, but what Atow realized is he wasn't really in position to make his flick just yet, but he had to. Based on when Nwpo was challenging, he needed to get movement now, and he does that with a backflip. That ends up tying the game. A couple people were saying this might be a bad server for Nwpo. or a bad ping. We'll just do a quick ping check. 76 ping for Nwpo. Has he moved? Chat, does anybody know? Nwpo, this is actually, you know, a good server. Nwpo sometimes gets 100 plus ping. I don't know if he's moved. I'm actually not even sure if I've seen him get 70 ping on EU almost ever. So, I mean, the server could still be bad. Ping isn't everything. But I've noticed this when I was watching him play, both in the ranked game for the YouTube video and on his stream. He seems like he has like 20 or 30 less ping than he normally does. He just got fiber. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Because his ping seems improved overall. He was one of the worst KSA pings to EU servers. Nwpo, double jump bump to put himself up in the lead. Complexity Feer. Yeah, I have yet to be removed from the Complexity Club. The only problem is Diaz is not in the official Complexity Club. I think he created one and then he added me to it. And it's just me and him. His teammates aren't there. His coach is not there. So I don't think it's the official Complexity one. But it is like actual Diaz who's in the club with me. So I don't really know what to do. Believe it or not, I will not be commentating the Complexity team stream despite me being in-game. Oh my goodness, Atow. This is a ridiculous shot here. Gets the near ceiling height before jumping off the wall, and then the wave dash shot to put himself on the opposite side of the ball, and just 100 km per hour wave dash shot, no bounce, all the way across the net from where Nwpo was. Just ridiculous. 3-3. Nwpo off the sidewall wants a 50. Probably didn't make that setup well enough to get away with it. Brought that ball all the way to the post to where it would take a miracle win on a 50 to actually score from it. But he's managed to stay in control of the possession. And now he's up again. Oh my goodness, Nwpo. I was about to say he moved way too far off the ball to find a way to get back to this, but that's just what Nwpo does. He's nowhere near it. He has left the ball. He has lost the dribble. You should give up on him. But the reality is he knows how to get back to it, and it actually ends up getting the perfect shot too. So much extra movement when he's attacking it that far from the side. And those kind of plays are in theory risks because you're not protecting the ball, not even close to protecting the ball in that moment that you fall away, but that's what Nwpo does. Atow, what a quick read at ceiling heights. Nwpo picks up the midfield, tries to challenge from behind the play, and Atow knows that Nwpo is expecting to rely on fast recoveries. Not just risky on offense, risky in defense as well. Sees an opportunity to maybe leave the play even with the ball in his corner to go grab midfield. Expects himself to be able to use his speed to get back, but he's playing against Atow today. And Atow is not messing around. That should have been a goal maybe. I think Atow was low on boost, so he couldn't quite get around the ball to get the proper angle. But it felt somewhat open. I don't know. I'd have to go watch it again. Atow has a reset, wants a ground pinch. It's not going to be strong enough. As Nwpo will make the save. Atow just buying himself a little bit of time. Now, pre-jumping Nwpo. That time around, got a reset. Or if he did get a reset, didn't use it. As we were tied 4-4. Half flip challenge. Atow, little cam check. He's going to let Nwpo chase down the ball. Just now noticing Atow's decals. That's something I think I normally see. Love the mix-up from anybody in the RLCS. What a shot from Atow. These are somewhat unconventional resets. I mean, this one isn't quite as different as his backflip touch with the, the back end of his car. But still, getting the reset and going side flip, not something you see very often. That's what Atow's going to use to give himself the lead. Atow, maybe a slight hesitation on the side wall as he sees Nwpo prepping to defend high. And instead, he slows the game down to a halt. And absolutely mind games the heck out of Nwpo, who is continuing to try and move in net to make a stop. But Atow just says, I'll take it over here. It's a pretty good recovery, actually, from Nwpo, all things considered. After he got faked and jumped, he did a pretty good job of using his flip and boost to get himself closer and make it not look too ridiculous. But Atow is still going to get the 2-goal lead. Nwpo decides not to be scared by Atow's pre-jump and There might have been multiple resets on that ball, but the shot is weak. And with a minute left to go, Atow in control. He could play this a little bit safer. He's going to let Nwpo pre-jump, and that is the kind of safety that should secure him this game. Pre-flip flick to finish off the 3-goal lead, but he is playing into Nwpo's biggest weakness right now. And it's so interesting to see because it's also his biggest strength. In games that he wins, it seems like there's just nothing you can do. He's all over the field. He's so fast. What's the answer? There is none. And then in games when people are making the right reads, making adjustments, making his pre-jumps look silly, it's like, wait, what is he doing? Why is he floating around nowhere near the play? But looks like Atow, at the very least, should be getting another game based on the last time they played a best of 5. Nwpo. Oh, I thought for a second was getting bumped off that ball, but I mean, he did get bumped off the ball, but it doesn't really matter. It's already on target. Atow not going to be able to get the save. So 20 seconds. Important kickoff here for Atow to not mess up. And he's just going to go for a half flip kickoff. I like that mix-up. We'll see if it ends up paying off. Nwpo places a decent shot high, but he did use a ton of boost. Atow recovering, and now this is when he needs to use his boost advantage, and I don't think he used it to the amount that he needed to. Nwpo, a little pinch on the post to make it 7-7. I don't hate what Atow did in net after his half flip, but I think it all comes down to that challenge. That was when he had an advantage over Nwpo with a lot more boost. He forced Nwpo to slow the game down, you know, and never pick any up. And he needed to do a better job of kind of saving that for a 50 and a recovery afterwards, I think. But either way, he might be in a good shape if he gets a pinch. Nwpo reads that it is off target and lets it bounce off the back walls. Flick on 0 boost. Atow going to try a psycho at 0 seconds, which is just going to lead to Nwpo having a chance. He could not go pick up boost, but he will pick up a couple pads. Wave dash catch, flick, top right. Nwpo has tied it up. 1-1 in the final moments. Atow, a game that it seemed like he had secured, is going to get stolen away, waiting for boost there in the corner. Great placement from Nwpo. And we're going to be tied headed into game number 3. Game number 3. Nwpo never giving up, never surrendering. I think there was a moment with about 30, maybe even 20 seconds left. Or no, I think it was 40 seconds left. It was a 3-goal lead that I felt Atow had secured it. Nwpo also handing some of those crucial goals away in what feels like silly fashions, but he doesn't let that affect how he plays the rest of the game. He's not tilting himself out of it because he's always playing, you know, this style. So it's nothing new to him. And he just keeps grinding it out and is able to get himself a win. I think Atow did not have to keep that ball in the air. I'm trying to think back now that I see that Nwpo actually did score. I want to say at 0 seconds, Atow could have grounded it. Oh yeah, he was going psycho. He could have at least put the ball somewhere else, but he tried for a super greedy psycho across the whole field. And obviously, most of the time, those end up not even making it to the halfway line. And in this case, it falls into the hands of Nwpo in a perfect spot to start a dribble. One thing that Atow has not used much in these first 2 games is his demo game. He's normally a very big demoer. Nwpo, if I had to guess, probably one of the tougher people to demo with just how fast he likes to play. But I expect to see some more of that going forward. Nwpo wants a tough angle. Doesn't really get close to getting it, which could be problematic because the worse the shot, the better the follow-up for Atow. But look at Nwpo just going. He doesn't want Atow getting anything off the wall. Immediately challenging, pre-jumping whenever he can. And there's that bump game. It's not a demo, but it's the bump game all the same. And Atow going to get himself a second goal. He's chasing Nwpo all the way up to ceiling height. That just doesn't happen. That just does not happen. If you go all the way to the curve on the ceiling, you can normally feel good about the fact that you have dodged the demo and you're safe. But Atow chases him all the way there. Gets a crucial bump, now flipping out for a reset. And a bit greedy to try and turn that into something. Nwpo going to have no trouble getting his first goal. That ball just set up so far off the side wall when Atow was trying to make something out of it. It's hard to catch up to it, get a reset, and really make a safe play, which means the shot has to be perfect. And just like that, Nwpo has tied it up. Waiting until this ball's in the perfect spot to push it top right. Seeing at least a couple people asking again. RLCS 1v1 I think is late March, and yes, I have been announced as an official commentator, or as they like to put it in the announcement, a special guest on the RLCS broadcast. But it is just for 1v1. Ooh, Atow somehow not able to force in that 50, which means we've got to give Nwpo the credit for the save. So he's now going to catch, but then lose this ball. It turned in for a boost steal, a couple wall dashes. Oh my goodness, look at this shot from Nwpo. Normally, when somebody loses the ball like this, you know, they tilt away and think there's nothing I can do. Nwpo, he just takes it to the corner, chains a couple dashes together, and then makes a play off the back wall with a reset to somehow get a goal. The improvisation knows no bounds when you're watching Nwpo. Atow throwing in another half-flip kickoff before the final moments of the game. Could not be a bad idea going forward, since the last one did not work out for him. But I still think it's the right idea to keep mix-ups against Nwpo. Half-flip, not going to be fast enough to score, so instead brings the ball down to a dribble, and now we'll have a sidewall. Knowing Nwpo is probably going to challenge high early. I think Atow, you know, might have wanted to make adjustment based on it, and what he ends up going for is the 50. So that's the thing about Nwpo, is he can be a little bit predictable. And Atow, expecting the early challenge, this time just preps his car for a 50, making sure the ball stays somewhere he can handle it, while Nwpo goes soaring off into no man's land. Atow just barely able to guide that to the ceiling. Nwpo trying to get perfect placement top right. Atow chain dashing, or I shouldn't say chain dashing, curve dashing out of the corner there. I think that left a window open for Nwpo to score. He just shot a bit too high. This should be a Nwpo goal. Wait a second! Atow a little bit faster than I thought to recover and take it away. A really speedy match here between these two. The Twisted Minds player and the Carmine Core player. Very excited to see what both these teams can do going forward, and despite as much of me hyping them up, there is going to be a slight own goal here as Atow sends it into the crossbar, and that was headed out before Nwpo is going to be the one to tap it in. Atow just gave the ball to Nwpo, so he'll get himself a goal. Oh, wait. Will he not? Okay, he did. I started looking away at the recent subscriber because I thought for sure this was goal. Atow just way too heavy of a touch, so he could not get a follow-up while Nwpo is the one to tap it in. Nobody 6991. Thank you for the tier 1 for 5 months. W RLCS caster. W chatter. Nwpo plans his pre-jumps the week prior. That is a great way to describe how Nwpo plays. Ooh, Nwpo, did he just fake Atow? Interesting play here. I could tell he was trying to line up a sidewall read that seemed like it was going to be pretty tough, but the important part is that he made Atow believe that he could do it. So Atow felt the need to jump up and cover the angle of that sidewall read. Instead, it's just a fake. Ball will bounce out to a really easy position for Nwpo to take the lead. 5-4, a minute left to go. This one is another sidewall miss, but the last one made sense. This one was just a mistake. Can't imagine Nwpo wanted to hand the ball over to Atow for a free goal. I think he was actually trying to get a really slight touch read there. Now he's going to be forced to clutch it up again in a tie game. Atow relying on that half-flip kickoff in crucial moments. And it might have paid off right now. It depends how this ends up playing out. Both these guys low on boost. Atow going to a low to the ground musty before stealing Nwpo's corner. But Nwpo has never needed boost to be quick. And he will be taking the lead with 19 seconds left to go. Not to mention he's got 47. I mean, he's got enough to easily make a play. Atow can't really afford to go to his half-flip kickoff on a straight kickoff like this. And Down one. Nwpo is more than willing to waste some time. He's going to take it to his back corner. And actually got convinced to hand the ball away, though. This is a good chance for Atow. Nwpo trying to pre-jump it. Out of boost now. Atow snakes underneath it. And that 50 maybe had a chance of going in, but not fast enough to tie the game before 0 seconds. So Nwpo will take game number 3. Game number 4. Am I crazy, or was Nwpo in the Fennec before? And now into the Octane after a victory. Not something you see super often. Atow going to force in the first goal. Nwpo going to immediately equalize on a wave dash kickoff. That is going to win big. Both of them going for the wave dash kickoff, but Nwpo there much quicker. Pushing it up over past Atow. Atow, a little camera check to see what Nwpo's up to. Decides to go for heavy touch and boost steals. He knows Nwpo's going to be forced into net without being able to pick up 100. But can he eventually convert this for a goal? Still has boost advantage. Nwpo chaining some scary dashes behind you. There's nothing like hearing a ton of successfully chained dashes from you as you try and run away. Oh, I got him on low boost. Let me just take this ball back to my half. And then you just hear coming up behind you. Nwpo will eventually get his lead. Atow. Notice Nwpo was out nowhere near the play. Did he miss a chain dash this time? Talking about his chain dashing. I think he must have, because he went sailing away. Atow. Pogo behind the ball. Floating, but taken away. Huge one for the fans. Unfortunately, not able to convert. Nwpo into the corner, chaining some dashes together for a long shot. Atow was ready for it, and he is going to try a psycho. He doesn't care. He's looking for a full field shot whenever he has the chance. Interesting save off of the post, and now looking at an open net technically, but Nwpo is going to be able to recover back. Can't imagine Nwpo was even expecting that good of a, counter from Atow. But still, he was fast enough to give himself a bit of leeway. The chain dashes from Nwpo seem to be second nature, as he's just using them to rotate around in positions that doesn't necessarily need a ton of speed, but figures, hey, maybe I'll save some boost. Because there's always a slight risk when you do make those chain dashes. You don't want to go flying off the side wall. So really don't see a ton of people using them for general movement yet. Unsurprising to see that Nwpo is one of the guys who's down to try it out. Atow kind of gave away this open net. You can see the frustration there as he spams the camera. Racing into the corner, not able to get the 100 boost. Atow forced to leave the play. Nwpo's dribble is not really headed towards the net, but just use a couple resets to make it possible. And there you go. Atow had to feel decently good about the fact that Nwpo's going to the side wall as he starts his dribble, but next thing you know, 2 resets later, and Atow has not reacted anywhere near in time for the reset shot. That gives Nwpo the lead. Atow just dashed off of Nwpo, but not in a good way, as it seemed like he was maybe trying to launch himself over there. It was a bit of an impressive dash in the sense that he went towards the ball, which I think was maybe what he was trying to do, but floating himself up in the air. Secured Nwpo's goal. Crucial moment here for Atow. Feels like a potential momentum swing if he's not able to score this. Or really, I shouldn't say momentum swing, but kind of the nail in the coffin almost for the momentum. Another great opportunity for him. 2-goal lead, 2 minutes left to go. Can you make sure this one doesn't slip away from you after losing 2 straight games to Nwpo? And again, he doesn't really come up with anything. And Nwpo is already, playing passively or at least slightly time wasting. We know how he normally likes to play. Even on 0 boost, he'll just rush it, try and make some flicks, figure something out. This time, taking it to his back corner for 100. Now pre-jumping to the back wall. Atow shoots it low. And even though he didn't score immediately, the sequence does eventually pay off in his favor. So I think Atow very much able to stay mentally in this one. Great wave dash shot. It's so crazy to see, especially in slow-mo. You see him falling to the ground. You say, oh yeah, I see the wave dash shot he's going for. He's going to place it bottom right. But you wave dash perfectly to the other side of center mass of the ball. Next thing you know, it's a banger bottom left instead. Impossible to defend. And now a double jump bump. And he has squared it up. Nwpo never even jumping. Does anybody know if there's been any news? Maybe I should ask Diaz. Is Diaz allowed to play South American 1v1 if he plays North American 3v3? Or is he forced to play North American 1v1 because he signed up in North America for 3v3? They're separate. I read some words from a tweet or something, some official words, and I was like, this seems like maybe they're separate, but I'm not 1000% sure. Because I feel like he should represent South America in the 1v1s. I feel like South America deserves the champion who, may win it all. Atow, it's a really important play for him now. And now he gets the demo, and he's waiting extra time before powering in his shots. He wants to make sure that Nwpo gets that respawn camera and gets to watch him. I don't want you to be frozen. Make sure those couple seconds before you respawn is you watching me shoot. Not to mention wasting a couple more seconds, as we might just have game 5 here. But last time I said that, Nwpo found a way to bring it back and win. Atow off the ceiling. He cannot feel good about a situation. He saves his flip and uses it for the dash. And Nwpo, I have to go watch his POV to see if there was a real scoring chance there, but he seemed keen on playing quickly and instead just hitting the ball super wide off the back wall. Atow should be able to get a boost still here. What kind of magic can Nwpo do on only 12? Maybe not a lot if Atow's undercutting him. But Nwpo should be able to reset on the side wall. And you have to imagine Atow finds a way to get this on the ground. Going on top of the ball. Nwpo able to get underneath it and win the first 50. Now single jump this to himself on the back wall. He's carrying it. Atow fake challenge gets Nwpo to flick. He tried to get the demo. He didn't get it. Nwpo has kept it in the air. Atow surely lets it hit ground now. My goodness. That was a heroic 0-second effort from Nwpo. And we saw the light there at the end of the tunnel, but it's not going to happen. Atow is going to force game 5. Game 5, Nwpo and Atow. Even if Atow can't get one more win, he at least got one more than he got last time. But I think with the way we've seen him play recently, he wants a full series win. Nice shot from Nwpo. Winning this into the corner. And, it's just, it looks so second nature. But getting a perfect shot, no bounce, 94 km/h, starting from behind the ball. It's only second nature for these guys. Nwpo, another kickoff goal. 13 seconds and a 2-goal lead as him and Atow fight for the midfield. Nwpo gets slightly, thrown off as he gets the win, but he instantly corrects for it with the dash. Regains all the speed he maybe would have lost because of that tussle. And converts for the 2-0 lead. Atow just barely able to get enough on that ball in the low 50. Picks up the side 100. Tries to flick high to force Nwpo into the air, but sends it too much. Nwpo will follow him anywhere. To the ends of the earth. Nwpo rises to the ceiling to prevent that dribble from starting. But Atow back in control, and he's going to go for a bump. Atow bringing in the bump plays, and they're paying off for him. It helps that Nwpo is using so much boost early in the defensive sequence to try and cut Atow down, resulting in him being a bit starved towards the end and a bit of an easier target when it comes to bumping. Atow again able to steal a corner, but so many different times now where it's felt like, you know, Atow is getting a big boost advantage, being able to snag some 100. Nwpo has done a good job of maintaining, you know, at least 50. Great shot here from Nwpo. And we know what he could do with almost nothing. With 50, he has basically a full tank. Now he's just going to read Atow not really getting up in time, and such a perfect use of his car towards the tail end of it on the front flip to keep the ball high the whole way. Top shelf it. Now a 3-1 lead in game 5. Atow wall dash to keep some speed as he starts this dribble, but it's ultimately finishing fairly lackluster. And it's going to result in a wide open net for Nwpo. You cannot use every last bit of your boost on that big of an air dribble unless you plan to get a really strong shot out of it. In this case, he did not. Nwpo able to steal it away. Atow will sneak in a kickoff goal, though. Kickoff goals, I think, have favored Nwpo. And that means you're giving yourself a little bit of extra homework in terms of fighting back comebacks and just getting wins in general in a series. Atow could afford to win a few for himself, and he has won another one. This one might not be an instant goal, but it is a first possession for him. Again, Nwpo doing a good job of having more than enough boost to make a play and escape from his own half when he needs to. Atow going to reset all the way into his box. This time he cuts early. Nwpo gets caught out of position, and Atow's going to get a goal. I think Atow took a bit of a tighter angle on this setup than Nwpo expected. You see him so wide. As soon as he sees that chip and he recognizes, wait a second, I'm out of position. He is challenging on that ball almost perfectly horizontal on the field. Not something you really want to be doing. Finding yourself, you know, behind the play, essentially. Atow, another kickoff win, another first possession. That's what we needed to see from him if he wanted to bring it back. And he's got a wave dash shot, wanted to get a demo. Committed for it so hard that he's not going to be able to pick up the back corner 100. And that might have been the reason why he gets scored on. It's tough to say. You know, if he doesn't need to go all the way out to the side field 100, the side 100, maybe he turns in earlier, can cut off this dribble before Nwpo really gets game, you know, full control of it. But as it stands, Nwpo able to prep for the predictable challenge. And is now up 5-3. Great fake here. Atow going to drop him the nice one. 6-3 at the halfway mark of game number 5. Watching from Atow's POV, I mean, we've seen just how effective Nwpo can be off his own back wall when he has to get out to the play and make something happen. So naturally, Atow respects that. This time it gets him scored on. Atow, that wave dash shot, not really set up for the kind of movement he'll need to get past Nwpo right now. And zero boost play means this has to pay off. And that might be a near best possible bounce for Nwpo, although he does miss. The ball just floated a bit too high, so that's why I'd say it's not the best possible. It came right out to him in the midfield, but he didn't have a ton of boost to get up and take an early shot. And Atow able to affect it just enough to make him miss. Minute 50 left to go. Atow double jumping over the boost before picking it up on the way back down. Nwpo air dribble bump to make it 7-3. We actually haven't seen too many of these air dribble bump plays. Couple double jump bumps. Atow has thrown in more ground bumps than he has aerial bumps. But Nwpo will be the one to give himself a 4-goal lead on the back of Old Reliable. Atow passed to himself off the ceiling. Top right. What a save from Nwpo. He pitches it into the corner. Is this going to find its way into the net? The follow-up is in. Oh my goodness, Nwpo. What a save. It's not going to show us fully in the replay. Atow placed it so well, but in fact what he did is he set up the pinch cross field, which just needed a little bit of help to become a goal. And it is 8-3 for Nwpo. Atow did not pick up the midfield 100, and I think there's really no reason for it. He should have been able to pick it up. Chain some dashes on the way back. He needs a demo or something. You can see the desperation in his play right now as Nwpo takes one from just inside his back wall. The flick is low. Atow gets the save, but a few consecutive bumps from Nwpo throw him off, and that boost in the back corner does not respawn for Atow, so he's going to have to do something on 3 boosts. Don't think it's going to happen. 5 goals in 1 minute. And Nwpo with boost advantage and control of the ball. It's got to be a miracle. Yeah, pre-flip, I was going to say. He's going to front foot, pre-flip, trying to send it the whole length of the field. And only if that worked could we really entertain Atow potentially coming back in this one. Nwpo, bit of time wasting. I think he knows he's done it. He'll go chase this one down. He even does a little camera check on the Atow. He wants his demo. He gets it. 9-3. 22 seconds left to go. Looks like these guys are going to play it out. Atow going to hand him the ball. Are they looking for clips now? This is like what you do in freestyling 1v1s. You just chip the ball away as a way to be like, here you go. The only problem is Nwpo is the only one scoring right now. And he'll do it again. Lean back resets. And the wave dash, catch, and flick. 10-3. Will Nwpo give Atow the chance now? No, he won't. It's not a fair... Okay, now he's giving it to him. I was like, clearly this was a back and forth freestyle based on what Atow is doing. Ceiling reset. And the little musty. Nwpo gives him the nice one. He says, no, what a save. Oh my goodness. The beef. I refuse to acknowledge the fact that he followed up with a spam of sorries. 11-4. No no's and sorries. That'll be it. Nwpo will take it in game 5 over Atow.